Radio Rahim with Ben Shalom. Boy, you have gotten your promoters, bona fides, and a couple of new stripes today. Like, it's never easy, really. You guys up there make it look easy, but you're holding everything together like herding cats with thin thread.
Look, I think it's a fight that neither of them want to lose. We've seen that since the day it was made. I think the 50% stuff and all that to a former world champion, to someone of Liam Smith's caliber, can be insulting, perhaps frustrating. I think that's what's boiled underneath, and they both are, making weight for tomorrow. And sometimes it goes a bit over the top, but nothing personal. I don't think was meant from it. I really think ultimately they both know this is a massive fight for them. They're about to fight in front of a sold-out arena. They're about to fight in front of the whole nation. And at 33, 34 years old at this level, it's a must-win fight.
All of what you said is true. And fans, love a good dust-up. We've been asking for weeks, is Chris Eubank getting under Smith's skin? Is he getting under his skin? And then we like to play it up when we get any kind of reaction. And today we've seen what it's like when a guy really does get under someone's skin. And the back-and-forth exchange clearly got very personal today. Does that, what we saw on this stage, cross the line?
Yeah, I think so, but I honestly think nothing insulting was meant by it, in the sense Chris is a mysterious guy. I think Liam was poking fun in terms of no one knows anything about him. He wasn't trying to be insulting about certain things, and I think it's the heat of the moment press conference. I think ultimately, underneath this all, they do have a lot of respect for each other. They know it's a big fight. They know what's coming. They know both guys are extremely durable. They know they're going to have to be the fittest they've ever been, the strongest they've ever been. I think this is going 12 rounds. So that's when that's coming, and there's so much pressure. I think we've just got ourselves in an unbelievable fight. I can't see that continuing.
And I don't want to go 12 rounds on this subject, but to be fair, to avoid it would be even worse. So what came back from EUBANK also could be considered crossing the line. Like, you're talking about a guy's household, his family, his wife. Have you heard from either side about their feelings about what was exchanged today? I mean, how is Liam Smith dealing with that?
Look, I think a lot of bullshit, to be honest, was said from both sides to try and get under each other's skin. That was it. I think it's all of it's baseless. I think there's no substance in any of it, and ultimately neither one wants one up on the other. They're proud fighting men. They don't want to be undermined and insulted, and I think that was it. And I think a lot of it is car crash rubbish. I think what we have is a top quality fight, and I think that's what people will look forward to on Saturday.
Well, let's turn then our attention to what is going on in the ring. Because the Conor Ben fight fell out and EUBANK has a bigger following, I think a lot of people just consider that he's the favorite. Where are they making their mistake?
Well, this is a tougher fight than Conor Ben. Liam Smith's become a world champion. He's fought Canelo. He's done things that Chris Eubank Jr. is still wanting to do. He's still dreaming of doing. And for me, he's in the form of his life. He's fought 4 times in the past 18 months. He's more active than Chris. I think this is a level. If you look at Chris Eubank Jr.'s career, everyone's always questioned, yes, he's a big star. Is he world level? He stepped up with Billy Joe Saunders. Close fight, didn't quite happen. Same with George Groves. I believe this is would be the biggest name on his resume. He fought James DeGale, and it was James DeGale's retirement fight. This is a world level fight for Chris Eubank Jr. It's probably one of the most important fights he's ever had in his career. He wins this, I think he silences a lot of critics. If he doesn't, it proves a lot of critics right, that he was never world level, and he never will win a world title. So much is on the line on Saturday night. I really think that's what it comes down to. I think that's why we're seeing the interest. I think why we've got a sold-out crowd on Saturday. Liam Smith is a superstar in the Northwest. He's someone that we followed from day one, and him and his brothers. He's become world champion. He's achieved his dreams. Eubank Jr. is still in search of his, and it's a massive night on Saturday.
They'll tell you that they're not, but all of us in boxing know that Eubank is looking to the Triple G fight as a prize just out of reach, and he has to come through Liam Smith to get it. If Liam Smith upsets that well-laid plan, what's in reach for him?
he's already talking to me about fights in June, in September. That's the thing. I think it's one of those fights where whoever wins has got massive fights. Kell Brook's going to be there on Saturday night. He wants the winner. Liam Smith might have to do the rematch with EUBANK Jr. if he opts into it, but that's a massive opportunity for him to fight at Anfield, which was his dream since he started boxing. Liam Smith wants to be in those big fights. He wants to be on box office. This is his gateway at 34 years old by beating possibly the biggest British name outside of the heavyweight division on Saturday night. There's huge moments ahead, huge fights ahead, and that's what's on the line. And I think for both guys, that's why it feels tense. That's why it feels like there's so much going into this fight, because it really is do or die.
I'd say, if I can speak for the entire boxing world, simply myself, that we are all grateful that I'd say by the second half of this year, it's starting to feel like pre-COVID days. We're starting to get back, there's almost a fight every week. There's a lot of fun happening. The crossover boxing is now strong, and that's just kind of like another place where fight fans can be brought to the sport. And it's the top of the year for you as well. We're talking about what's in reach for the fighters. What's in reach for you in 2023?
I think 2022 was almost like our breakout year. We've been promoting 4 years. We were in the process of signing a lot of fighters whilst putting on big shows, and that was very difficult, but the nights that we had were way above what we had in our stable. Now we go into 2023. We've got the ability to put on undercards like this. We have the stable. We have the fighters that we think will go on to fight for world titles. We think we have got the future of British boxing and the superstars in Ben Whittaker, in Adam Azim, in Caroline Dubois. It's so exciting for us because we never had that ability to plan, that luxury to build fighters, that luxury to have fights from top to bottom, which is a boxing fan we all want to see. We all complain about it. We all want to see cards that start with entertainment at 7 o'clock, and that's what I think 2023 represents for us. I hope it's going to be an amazing year for boxing in general. I hope promoters will work together. I think the US leaves a lot to be desired in terms of the way that the promoters do work together, and I think that's clearly now a fundamental problem in the sport, and it has to be addressed. And I think we're going to start to see it be addressed because there's too many threats now to the health of boxing long term. I think this is the year where I think we'll see promoters work together more than ever. The networks are under pressure to deliver the biggest fights, and we want to be part of that. And I think it should be, and I'm always optimistic, as you probably are, that it should be a very good year for boxing.
I think your promotion being called Boxer is aptly named because you've had to fight your way to this position. And I'm sure that you're not at the goal yet. You want to be the top promoter like every promoter does. So if I can get you to look into the mist of your crystal ball, how does Boxer become, far and away, the premier boxing promoter in this region, being England, or the world overall?
Just by putting on the fights that the fans want to see. That's all boxing fans care about, and making sure that politics doesn't get in the way, making sure the undercards, as I say, are as strong as possible, making sure that the sport improves, whether that's regulation, doping, judging. How can we modernize the sport? How can we learn from the UFC, WWE, influencer boxing, as you say, to grow the sport? I don't like it when promoters are put in a ranking order or put against each other. I think that's actually what has drives the sport away from having success. I think the more promoters are trying to compete with each other and be the best and be this, that's where I think there's a problem. This sport is too big. There's so many big fights to make. I think the more that people work together, the more everyone wins. I truly believe that. It's a global sport with so much potential. And I think, for us, yes, we want to be part of that, but ultimately there's always going to be other promoters, and it's just about getting the fights on and doing the best for the fighters that we have.
Well, now that we've looked through your crystal ball, let me give you the magic wand. What fight would you most want to promote if you could make anything happen in 2023? What are we going to see at the top of that card with Boxer and the moniker in the back?
Look, I think realistic fights for this year, EUBANK Jr., Billy Joe Saunders is one I would love to see personally. I think Shields Marshall too. I think Akoli Riakporhe, Taylor Cattrall, which was something we were involved in last year that was personal to us, and we wanted to make sure that fight happens again. That will happen in March. We just want to make the biggest fights possible, and at the moment our focus is the UK. It's the British fights, it's the British fans, it's the grudge matches, and we keep delivering, and we want to do that more this year. And yeah, that's the focus this year, and just make sure that boxing is, when it comes to the end of last year, because I feel like we got to the end of 2022 and we had so many sagas that it was almost a bit like, let's hope we get to the end of 2023 and everyone's feeling good about boxing.
Well, I'll echo the sentiments of the great Roy Jones in thanking you as a promoter for putting together a fight that fans truly are calling for when they're calling for it, and being willing and able to work with other promoters and making that one of the things that you consider to be a goal. And I do agree that it's positive in the sport. So keep that attitude when you start climbing these ranks. I don't want to start hearing all this, I won't work with him and this guy will never get a call from me. I think that that's the right attitude that you have, and hopefully that is the attitude that all promoters will have in the coming years, and we'll get to see these fights like we're going to see on Saturday night when we want to see them, with the best in the business facing each other. This can't wait. Let's do it Saturday night. Radio Rahim with Ben Shalom, a boxer. We'll see you at Manchester Arena this Saturday night. Chris EUBANK and Liam Smith.